we wait.
I know we almost do need the Jeopardy theme song, but we don't have a theme song. Welcome to hashtag Jeopardy Live panel presented by thejeopardyfan.com. This is December 20th, Season 2, Episode 15. I am Andy Saunders. Now, I'm going to get right into introducing tonight's panel. First up, because it ties in with This Week in Jeopardy history, which I'm going to lead off with tonight as we wait for the breaking news. This Week in Jeopardy history, Jason Keller, happy Jeopardiversary. You're going to begin on December the 16th, it was, in 2011. And so he's on our panel tonight as well, so happy Jeopardiversary. How, I guess when you went on, how did you expect it to go when you went on?
When I went on, quite honestly, having known a lot of people who had been on the show before, maybe not as much as you know now, but between Quiz Bowl and other, I'd seen people who had done very well, and I'd also seen people who had, who either, went up against really good competition or were leading and going into Final Jeopardy and then got screwed over. And honestly, I was like, no expectations. If I win one game, that's fantastic. If I don't win one game, I'm probably going to write an angry letter to the editor of my local paper. So honestly, also there was a little bit of a relief in my recording group when the person, a couple of episodes before, there was someone who looked like he was going to be a shark and he lost a game. So then that was really for the rest of us. So, that's, my expectation was very low going into my initial run. So to have won as much as I did was really just, after one game, I was just honest. Well, and also it was a Friday game. So to run, to, kind of go back to the hotel room, and I kind of jumped around in my hotel room for a little bit. And then I just went and relaxed and had dinner. I'm like, I got to do this again tomorrow. So, it was beyond my expectations, and it really was something that, it really, I think, affected my life positively in a lot of ways. So.
Okay.
And I know I told you this, but just for everyone out there, I actually was asked about this at an ACT class that I am currently teaching. Actually, the day after, so 4 years and a day after my first episode, my ACT kids were like, "Oh, when were you on?" And so that was really kind of neat to be like, actually, I think it was like almost exactly. I'll always remember the day that I lost my regular season run because it's my mom's birthday.
Oh.
So yeah, I wished my mom a happy birthday during the interview segment, and then unfortunately I lost. But so as I said, I had no expectations going in. It really kind of surpassed my expectations. That I figured, like, I knew I had the knowledge and the ability, but stuff happens.
Okay. Also on tonight's panel, we have another person who did very well on Jeopardy recently, or semi-recently, Vaughn Winchell, returning to our panel once again. Thanks for joining us tonight, Vaughn.
Thanks for asking me, Eddie.
Your semester is just about over then?
Yes, it is. It is. Not my best semester in graduate school. I kind of took my eye off the ball during October and November.
I wonder why.
Exactly, yeah.
And then we have...
Turns out the Tournament of Champions is more fun than my homework.
Makes sense. So, and now we've got a couple people from this past week's worth of episodes. First up, I'm going to introduce Kiyana here. Kiyana Holderbaum. She was on Friday's episode, Los Angeles Kings fan, whose team demolished my poor Habs earlier this week. Hey, you know what? I'm a man of my word. I promised I would mention it when I invited Kiyana onto the panel. So.
It is appreciated. Thank you. Thanks for inviting me.
And finally, we have Claudia Corriere, and she won twice this past week. So.
That's right.
Yeah. And I think I've got some viewers. I dropped a hint at this at the end of last week's Jeopardy Live panel. I'm gonna I think I think it's probably safe to discuss this. Something that I guess it has to do with Claudia. It has to do with something that last took place in 2009, and it doesn't have to do with her mother. So, Claudia, I think you have a story to tell. I should say that I learned a couple of weeks back that there are going to be 3 challengers on Monday's episode.
Yeah, that's right. There are going to be 3 brand new people on Monday's episode, and the reason for that is I was the last 2 games on the second taping day, the first time I went out, and so that would have meant I would need to come back. But the date that they wanted to reschedule me to, here in Atlanta, I'm a musician, and so I had gigs scheduled for the date that they wanted me to come back, and it was, I don't know. It's like if I had canceled that or backed out of that in December, like December is my super busy time, I would probably never work again here. So I kind of just explained that to the producers, and they were actually really awesome in finding me a different date. So I won't be back on until January, and I'll actually have a co-champion in my first game. So, when I talked to Amy about it, she, when I told her that I couldn't make the date that they wanted me to give me originally, she said, okay, well, of course we want you to be able to come back, but just, you might have to have a co-champion in your first game, so you'll be playing against somebody who's already won a game. And I said, well, didn't I do that already? So, the first game I ever played, of course, you have a champion and then challenger. So I was just glad that they were able to work that out for me, and that I was able to come back and continue. So, so that's why it's not, as exciting, I think, as people were hoping. But that's the reason for that. So.
Well, it is noteworthy, and I believe, yes, if I'm not mistaken, Alex had surgery around that time that caused some tapings to be rescheduled.
He did, and I was going to let you bring that up because, to be honest, I wasn't 100% sure if I was allowed to talk about that or not. So yeah, he did. The dates were rescheduled from my original date because of the surgery, and then the date that they wanted to give me after the rescheduling, I had conflicts. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I did not. Don't worry, I did not hear that from Claudia. I knew that. I had heard that already from other sources, and from here at the Jeopardy Fan, I want to wish you the best in getting back to 100%, Alex. And
he looked pretty good. I actually was out there Monday of this week, so like this past week. So he looked like he was back to his old, awesome, snarky self. So.
Okay. Glad to hear it. And if you have anything you'd like to say, you can always use the hashtag Jeopardy Live Panel, and I will generally read that out onto the panel for everyone. In terms of some context here, Priscilla Ball, she's the other person back in 2009 who was unable to defend her championship right away. In January, she won a game, and then she fell ill. So that the following game began with 3 new players. Alex announced, of course, that she would return as a co-champion at a later date. She eventually returned in April to win a second game. So.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, everybody's got jobs and lives and everything, and so I think, they sort of just float this stuff out to you like, oh, well, can you just come back on this date? I mean, maybe hoping that people will try to make the arrangements that they can, but, you know, I was just in a situation where I had to think about my life after Jeopardy, and I'm finding out there is life after Jeopardy. So, you know, I just kind of had to consider the ramifications of backing out of some stuff I had already committed to, so.
Mm-hmm. That is certainly fair. Now, do we have any other panel? Does the panel want to bring up anything on this piece of news?
I think it's pretty cool. I figured something was going on because actually this week when, at the beginning of the week when Jeopardy put all our names on the homepage and I could finally look up people because I didn't have a chance to make any mental notes of anything.
Yeah, I didn't remember anybody's last name. I was like,
yeah, I barely remember. Claudia, I remembered you as the blonde lady. Like, I could not remember your name, and so like as through social media we kind of started to find each other, and I saw that, you know, you were coming back from LA, and I was like, interesting. I wonder if there was some reason, but, you know, so that's good to know. You know, it sounds like you made a wise decision, and they were able to accommodate you, which is awesome. So I think that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. I also think it's really cool that they were, you know, A, that they were able to accommodate. B, I'm honestly surprised it doesn't happen more often, especially.
Me too. Because, you know, with people, I mean, just knowing how bosses be bossing or whatever, and don't want to have people like, oh, we'll have to go on this day, and then I want to have to go on that day, and, you know, so.
That was how it was for my audition because I live locally.
Oh, really?
So I was actually an alternate. So I did not know until about 10 minutes before the last show that taped that I was going to be me or if it was going to be the other girl next to me. But I did the same thing. So when they called and told me, they're like, now there's a chance you won't be on, but we'll get you on a later show. The date might be this date. And so when I asked for my time off, I was like, I need this date, and I guess this one. I'll let you know if I need this one off too. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. And I live locally. I can't imagine having to think about airfare and trip planning and hotels and all of that stuff on top of it. Mine was a drive up and a drive back.
Right.
Yeah, you can lose a whole day to travel if you're on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Well, and coming back, my first trip, I was, you know, a Tuesday, Wednesday taping week, and I was in the Wednesday group, and so I was able to, you know, fulfill all of my work commitments and then get in early on Tuesday and relax and, you know, poke around a little bit and kind of chill out. This time, it was a Monday, Tuesday taping, and I had a gig on Sunday, and so I left at 7:30 Sunday night and got in to my accommodations at like 11 o'clock on Sunday night, which was 2 in the morning for me, and then I had to get up, you know, 5 hours later or whatever and get ready and get the shuttle and everything, so that was definitely not ideal. The first time was great. I slept like 12 hours before I went, but the second time not so much. But, you know, you do what you got to do.
Yeah, my managers at the time were super stoked, and if more had happened, I'm sure that, I mean, it was a little bit of a different, it was just, oh, you're teaching SAT classes, let's find a substitute. And they were super stoked, but I could understand how, and actually, yeah, I guess I'm a little bit surprised that it doesn't happen as often, although that sort of border case, you know, doesn't happen a lot. I'm interested that it was a Monday and Tuesday taping, since I was under the impression that it was always Tuesday and Wednesday.
Well, I think because of the holiday, they kind of clear out because of the holiday. I don't know.
Yeah, but, and also, yeah, flying from the East Coast and not having that turnover time. I was going to say, well, actually, I don't know. When I was there, I just generally had trouble sleeping because of what what I was out there for. Did you find that as well?
Right. Well, see, I kind of, listening to you talk about, you know, your first time going out and not really having a lot of expectations, that's how I was. And my first trip, I slept great. I went out. I had fun. You know, it was great. And I was like, okay, I just need to get to bed by like 10. Not a problem. I was just so incredibly stoked to be there, you know? And so I didn't have a problem sleeping. But this time, you know, with 2 wins to defend, I was more nervous, if that makes sense. I don't know. And no, I didn't sleep. I kind of laid down and closed my eyes and, you know, woke up at like 3:30 in the morning. I was like, well, I guess I'm up now. So, you know.
So I guess moving on to some discussion about this past week's episodes. The riotous mob was out in full force earlier in the week with regards to Tiambi and the her response of the purloined letter.
The purloined letter or whatever, like, right, like that's a thing anybody would ever write, ever. So anyone that speaks English, never.
Yeah, right. Anyone who knows the title of that
like,
story
can
knows
you
the title
read?
of that story.
Okay, it's probably an ED. Oh, God.
Yeah, I know. The riotous mob. Obviously, there are some technical limitations behind the light pen and the display screen in Final Jeopardy. It was obvious to me she ran out of room, and you know she wrote the ED. It kind of meshed together, and the judges felt the same way. Now, was there any sort of pause in the audience, or a pause like in taping while the judges considered?
I don't remember that.
I don't remember. I mean, and it might just be, you know, because obviously we knew it was purloined, and so that was just not even within the realm of possibility. So I just looked at it and saw purloined. I mean, I didn't, you know, I don't know. People have so much time on their hands, like so much. It's crazy to me. No, there was no question.
Sorry, Kiyana, you were saying?
No, it was kind of unrelated. But I was going to say, if I remember, the only pause that we took during those 5 games was actually for Johnny Gilbert to re-record Tiambi's name the first time, because I assumed there was a slight mispronunciation, which made me feel good because my name is very, very often. So I was like, okay, at least I know if it's not read right, they're going to do it over again. So and Alex got 50% on my name throughout that actual game.
I mean, yeah. I know that there are some interesting. I know that one of my finals, I thought that the screen did not record the last letter of my response. And it ended up that it wouldn't have mattered other than to me winning more money at that point. But yeah, I know that there are technical limitations. I work, I work with students in various parts of the country. I work with a tablet. It's not always 1,000% precise. It's not always, and the light pens. It's the same. It's the same. I'm assuming it's similar technology. That sometimes stuff like that happens.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's picking. Yes.
Yes, I agree.
Vaughn, do you have anything to add on that?
The whole thing was just. No, I don't have a lot to add that hasn't been said. I mean, it's writing with a light pen, and it never looks like your handwriting. And it's not like you can erase what you've done because the clock is ticking. And the whole thing was, at least on the Jeopardy Facebook, there was a huge brouhaha over this, but the Jeopardy Facebook is such quicksand. I mean, you get mired and you can try to tell people, but...
I did comment on. I wonder. It seems like there are people with time on their. It seems like it's either people with time on their hands or fake accounts created to stir up publicity.
Just to troll us, yeah.
Yeah, just to troll. And
absolutely.
It just seems like yeah, it just seems like.
Well, and there seem to be a number of people who want to be smarter than Jeopardy and smarter than the contestants.
Mm-hmm.
And that is something that I will confess to having done before at home until my mom was on the show. Sitting at home, and it's it's so easy at home, sitting at home and be like, oh my God, how did that guy get on there? He's such a dumbass. Like, what the hell? But I will never, ever do that again. Because you know, everyone in your group is super smart, and there's so much that's out of your control, like, so much. And I just think that it's, you know, to me, it's like I'm borderline disgusted with the people that just sit and have comments and everything, and it's like, I'm sorry, have you done this? No, then shut up.
I still have some harsh judgments occasionally about people who are on the show. Nobody on this panel, I want to make that clear.
Oh, of course not. Of course. But
I have had some harsh judgments about some contestants I've seen, but I don't say those things on the internet anymore. I say them in my family room. So if you want to know what I think, come see me. We'll watch
Jeopardy. Them behind people's backs like a decent person.
Yeah, I'll come with that unopened bottle of beer.
Right.
So we have both Claudia and Kiyana on the panel. They both were on Friday's episode. So I have a bunch of discussion topic kind of things from Friday. First up, Will Shortz was on. Don't know if you, but yeah, there was the New York Times crossword category, which appeared to play a lot easier watching at home than in the than in studio.
That was rough. Well, so, and I think Claudia and I think we might have even talked about this at lunch, because I think I did, because Alex at the beginning of the week said something about do the crossword puzzle. We're going to have, we're going to be doing something, but I was like, did he say at the end of the week, are we doing some sort of crossword puzzle clues? Does that mean on Friday's show there's going to be crosswords? But we haven't seen the crossword puzzle. Like, I was a little bit blown away. Then as soon as it popped up, I'm like, and there it is. And I was like, and there's not, it's just crossword clues. It's not crossword clues C or anything else. It was just crossword clues. And I was like, oh, goodness. Yeah, that was.
Yeah, we got no help. We got no help at all. It was just like,
watching back, I was like, oh, right. And they all made sense to me as I was sitting on the couch watching back at home. But yeah, at the moment, that was kind of crazy. My brain was not set up to deal with those.
No, I don't. I mean, that's something that I knew. Something that I knew going in is a weakness of mine. Is stuff like that, like the sort of wordplay things, and the questions that have too many steps. I really don't do well with those. Like the ones where you have to figure something out, and then figure something else out to get the answer. Like my synapses were not working at the something. I don't know. That was not. I don't know if I even got one of those crossword ones. Yeah,
I don't know if
I think I just was like, yeah, I'll just let Julie and Kiyana have that, because I'm gonna make an ass of myself if I try to do this.
That's funny, Claudia. I find it funny to hear you say that, because I am so mediocre on the buzzer that those things are my bread and butter.
Oh. Well, yeah. We all have, like, everybody has their sort of different thing that helps them win, like whether you're the first to get the answer or the first to ring in. And then I think the people like you guys that make it to Tournament of Champions are the ones that have more than one thing going on.
So, as a panel, how do we feel about categories that obviously play significantly easier at home than in the studio? In general.
Well, the anagram ones, oh my God. Like, and of course, I mean, I don't know. I just, like your mouth won't work and I don't know. That was awful. I hated that.
It's interesting because I always, watching at home all these years, I always thought it was kind of strong in a lot of the wordplay categories. It was always a strength of mine, but my brain does not unscramble very well. Anagrams are like my weakest point in there. So I'm like, anagram world leaders, and I know there was one, I think it was the Tony Blair answer. It came as the buzzer, and I was like, oh, labor, time up, and I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I just look ridiculous here. And I was watching them back, and again, they all made sense as I was watching them back on TV. My brain was
Of course they did.
in the moment. My goodness, no way.
Of course. Yeah, there's a handful of answers that people have sort of good-naturedly, people I know, not internet random people, because I don't talk to them, but have sort of given me ribbing about, and that was one, was the Tony Blair and Manuel Noriega, too. It's like, name a leader of Panama.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
sort of your choice, you know?
Right.
So,
Yeah, that was a. I would say certainly that was interesting. Again, yeah, easier to play from home because also the letters are right there in front of you on your television, where it's much harder to actually see the letters on the screen.
well, and there's just no pressure at home, you know? You're relaxed, you're like, half the time when I watch Jeopardy, I'm like texting and on the iPad and doing laundry and like yelling answers from the laundry room, and I have no, because I'm not under any pressure. But you get in the studio and it's like, bright lights. So.
Well, I know there was another one, Claudia, and I can't remember if it was in the crossword clues, but it was Seth Meyers, and none of us got it, and it was like the late.
Oh my God!
Apparently, the world thinks we're stupid because.
I was totally convinced it was Myers.
Yeah.
I thought it was Myers, Myers, which is not enough letters because it said 10 letters, and I was like, "Well, that's not enough. That's only 9." Like, so.
Those clues, the pop culture clues or the sports clues, just set Jeopardy contestants up to be mocked online by
Absolutely.
the people who know sports or the people who know Entertainment Weekly are going to say, look at those idiots on Jeopardy. Yeah, I really hate when that happens.
There was just an article about, and in fact, there was just, I saw in my on Yahoo Sports today something about Sabermetrics. And
I saw that.
And
I had never heard of that. Never heard of it.
If you're not, if you don't follow baseball enough, then you have no reason to know that.
Yeah.
And
no, I don't know.
and it's funny though because you notice that the attention never comes when someone does well on something like that or when the game does something like that.
Never ever.
Yeah.
No,
Usually it only comes when
people.
Usually it only comes when the people do well, and the person in question, oh good, they know who I showed up on Jeopardy, and that's all. And,
Right.
Yeah, sure. You were going to say.
I was talking with some friends of mine since I've been back, and they asked, everybody always wants to know what's Alex Trebek like. And I think he's hilarious and, like, want him to come to dinner at my house. Like, I just think he's great. But, he kind of projects this attitude at home sometimes of, like, oh, no, what an idiot. You didn't get that? You don't know that? And I think it's because, people like to watch Jeopardy because it's fun and they like trivia, but I think there's also some schadenfreude there. Like, oh, look at these people with their asses on their shoulders and they're going on Jeopardy and look how stupid they are and that kind of stuff, so I think there's definitely an element of that in people that watch Jeopardy because they are too afraid to try out themselves because they're wieners.
Speaking of which, the online tests are coming up January 26th
because they're wieners.
Everyone should do it. Everyone should totally do it. It's the coolest thing I've ever done, and that includes having twins. Cooler than having twins.
I would say most things would be cooler than having to deliver twins, but not having experience. But
maybe not the actual experience of it, but like being a parent of twins is pretty awesome. But being on Jeopardy is awesomer by a little bit.
Mm-hmm. So, Jeopardy.com, the online test, January 26th, 27th, and 28th. I believe they announced the audition cities recently. They include Minneapolis, Detroit, San Diego, New York, Washington, D.C., and a few others. So, Yeah, go to Jeopardy.com. Sign up for auditions. I don't have to. I'm in the pool this year. Let's see. Oh, yes.
You are?
Claudia. Yes, I am in the contestant
Wait.
pool.
Awesome. Sorry,
Andy, what did they tell you? Are you in the pool through the end of 32 or 33?
For people.
I am in the pool. They tell us we're in the pool for 18 months.
Yeah.
Right.
So for me, that is, I could be called up until the end of December of 2016.
So exciting.
Well, you know, if they want to give me a call, awesome. If for some reason I was not supposed to announce that Alex Trebek had surgery and I've now been blackballed, oh well.
Forever, you're blackballed. You're blackballed forever.
Uh-oh.
Hope you're happy.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, Andy, you might as well just let loose. In for a penny, in for a pound.
I know.
Tell us
exactly.
how you really feel about all of it. Yeah.
So, Claudia, the Stephanie Meyer question. No shame, only points?
No, the only question I refused to answer was the poop question.
Yes,
Wasn't going to do it. No.
You were not going to say what is poop.
No, because, you know, my goals going out there were to, like, have an awesome time. If I win a game, great, and avoid becoming a meme of any kind. So, you know, I figured ringing in and answering poop on Jeopardy was probably going to cause me a problem. So I let Alex say it.
Okay.
Yeah, I totally feel that.
But somebody... Oh.
Go ahead, Claudia.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
I was going to say that I've been telling people that my greatest Jeopardy accomplishment is that I played the game 8 times and never became a vine.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was terrified. Somebody did, I saw on Twitter, though, posted, and the video was to be of Alex saying poop, and they rewind in, like, and make him say poop, like, 6 times. But, you know, I guess I made a face or something while we were waiting for the timeout thing to go. None of us were going to do it. Tiami wasn't going to do it. Mark was not going to do it. It's just like, no thank you. You can keep that $400 or whatever it was. But somebody made a video of it, and I guess I made a face or something, which I definitely, like, screenshotted and pulled out and was like, this is the face you make when you refuse to say poop on national television.
Before I move on to my next question, we have some comments on the hashtag. First up, from Ben Ingram. This one to Jason and Vaughn. Don't try to talk sense to Jeopardy Facebook posters. It's way, way too hard.
Wise words.
Wise words.
As usual, Ben is right.
Yes. From Carrie Green. Vaughn Winchell needs another drink.
Carrie's looking out for me.
Sorry, is this a drinking game and I didn't know? What are the rules?
Oh, you're welcome to drink if you'd like. I actually stopped drinking scotch like 3 hours ago to sober up because I thought maybe I should try to be a little bit more sober.
The mod should probably at least be marginally sober.
Yeah, you'd think that. See, that was Jeannie's point. Whenever she, when she was still around a little bit more, that Andy, you probably shouldn't be drinking on panel. Oh well. Let's see what else. This is from @DerekVL. Nice to see Claudia on the Jeopardy live panel. Hoping she has a long and successful run. # Queen Jeopardy.
Aw, yay.
And this
Thanks,
one,
Derek.
And this one is from Jessica Pertese, # Jeopardy live panel. I'm catching it just now. If you answer Manchester to a question with Brummy in it, you'd be dead here. She of course lives in England.
Is she from Birmingham?
She actually goes to school in Birmingham, and she probably would not go over very well in England, and which I can't quite. Was that Thursday's or was that Wednesday's game?
It was earlier. It was early in the week.
Yeah.
I think because I remember that. I remember that question.
Okay.
Wasn't on one of my games.
So let's see here. Speaking of Ben Ingram, here's a good spot to ask this one. The standing question he always likes me to ask on Jeopardy Live Panel, which of course I can because you guys were both there Thursday or Friday. Obviously, you were in the Sony commissary. What did you have for lunch?
Oh, yeah. Well, I wasn't terribly hungry because I didn't want to eat anything that was gonna give me a problem. So I just had like a salad and some fruit and a Diet Coke.
Which obviously works.
Yes.
Right? What?
I said obviously that works.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. Well, they gave her the voucher thing, and it's worth like $12 or whatever, but you get the Sony employee rate and the voucher, and so I brought my stuff up, and the guy was like, okay, that's $3 and something, and so I give him the voucher. He's like, don't you want something else? You have like $8 more on here. Don't you want some more food? And I'm like, okay, first of all, I'm a large lady, but I have exactly enough the amount of food that I want. Thank you very much. And shut up. So anyway.
Yeah, so I think most of our table pretty much did the same thing. I think we all picked at the salad bar. Nobody was I wasn't hungry. I had actually been fighting cold the last couple of days, but I did not want to take any cold medicine and be all foggy, so I just had this killer headache. So I was looking for caffeine. That was like my big. So I think I got like a big Diet Coke or something, and then a little bit of a salad, and yeah, that was pretty much it.
Yeah. Boring.
Yeah.
All the ladies had salad.
No, I think you're right because I think Mark was the only person who did not get a salad, if I remember.
Oh yeah, he got fish or something, and I remember. I remember sitting at the table, sitting at the table with him. Yes, sitting at the table with him, smelling the fish and just being like. Oh. Yeah. He said it was really good though. I just wasn't hungry. Like I just didn't want to smell food or like look at food or anything. So yeah, he had fish and we had salad.
I wonder how I know Ben Ingram is a big fan of the potato wedges.
Yeah.
Oh. I didn't have any recommendations going in, so and of course well, I won't say that. My mom didn't eat lunch when she went, so I didn't have the inside scoop, on the commissary. Excuse me, not cafeteria. Cafeteria is a low-class thing.
So I guess you know what? Let's let me put this in front of the panel. Compare Thursday's Final Jeopardy to Friday's Final Jeopardy.
Thursday's Final Jeopardy was the worst ever in the history of Jeopardy. So there's that.
What in your opinion made it worse in the history of the show?
It was really hard. It was really hard. And I've had people tell me that have lived in Paris, that have been to Paris multiple times, that they had no clue there was a Pantheon in Paris. Everybody knows about the one in Rome. But not the one in Paris. And I sure as hell don't know the name of the freaking architect. Jean-Georges Jacques, or whatever his name was. I don't know. I still don't know.
And
it's okay.
Friday,
You can watch it over and over on your TiVo until you do.
No, well, yes, maybe so.
I mean,
and of course Friday.
And Friday, it's like, could we not have split the difference? Let's split the difference of difficulty and have two moderately difficult ones instead of one impossible one and one that my children knew the answer to.
For the record, the J-Board Final Jeopardy poll, Thursday is currently polling at 9%, and Friday is polling at 91%.
Yeah, because to me that's like a $200 or single Jeopardy, whatever you call it, first round. I don't even know what it's called. I don't know.
Like, well, it's because especially I felt, I mean, just looking at the finals from the week, I felt like that Thursday one was just way out of line from everything else. But I know that, I mean, as far as, I wouldn't say that it's necessarily like the worst Final Jeopardy ever.
It was the worst one I ever had.
It's the worst one that you've ever had, sure.
Yeah.
I think it's something, but it was definitely a clear, like, you either know this or you don't.
There was no figuring it out.
Yeah, there was
No, there was no figuring it out. That's true.
This was, if you knew that architect, you knew it. If you didn't, you could, I mean, you could get it by a wild guess, but that's pretty far down.
Yeah, if you didn't know the architect, you could easily think of 3 or 4 other sites in Paris.
I went through Notre Dame, Père Lachaise, Sacré-Cœur, Saint-Sulpice. I was like, did they bury people in the Arc de Triomphe? Like, what? I don't know. You know, it's like, and I would never in a million years have come up with that.
Because there have been, I mean, even like last week, I know that there was the final on the Freedom of Information Act that mentioned information in the clue.
Duh. Oh my god.
But I mean, I don't know if people agree with me. I do feel like sometimes I feel like the writers are kind of afraid of wrong answers, and so I think that they've been sort of, I mean, we're all playing the game, but I do feel like sometimes they're a little intimidated to like put something like the Pantheon down more often. I actually kind of wish that that
it was harder.
That sometimes there would be a few more challenging clues like that.
Well, and I can't disagree with you because it's supposed to be challenging. It's supposed to be challenging. It was just really a very stark contrast, the two Final Jeopardy that I participated in.
It did just seem that. No, as I was saying, it did just seem that it was way out of line with everything else that came up this week as far as finals were concerned.
Yeah.
But also sometimes it's just like, oh, it was unexpected. But yeah.
Yeah, unexpected because it was very easy, I thought. There were lots of hints. National Geographic, lawn ornament, plastic.
Yeah. Right.
Like
yeah.
I don't know.
Better to be in the 91st percentile than that other 9%, so I'm just glad we all got that.
Maybe.
Way worse.
Oh, me too. I was so proud of us.
Huh. Interesting.
So,
I was just looking on J-Archive about the Pantheon. There was a I'm surprised I haven't heard anything from Carrie about this, to be honest with you, because in her first game, there was a category interred in the Pantheon in Paris.
Oh, okay. So there's at least 5 people buried there.
Yep.
There are a lot of people there. Yeah.
There are a lot.
I know.
There was also a Final Jeopardy from back in looking in the archive from 1995 that mentions the Pantheon when Mary Curie became the first woman entombed in the Pantheon.
So
that was a current event.
Back to 1995 when you were studying?
No, I didn't quite make it, back to 1995. So, although, to be honest, I was 12, so I probably watched that episode at home with my parents because we watched it every single night growing up. So, but I didn't remember that particular tidbit of information.
Speaking of studying, I'm just curious, did you guys do any looking at wagering strategy before you went on?
I did not actually do any official digging. I based it on my own experience, kind of decades of watching the show, and then in the end, it really didn't matter much for me anyway. I was in sort of a very distant third, so I was like, my only hope is if these two, battle it out, get it wrong, and maybe I get lucky. I do know that the contestant between us did some studying on wagering. Took her time making her wager.
Yes, she did.
waited for-
She has a
waited
PhD
for
in
her-
statistics.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
Yeah.
So no, I did not do any official studying on it, any reading on it. Alex even mentioned, hey, there's been entire books written on wagering. That came up in our conversation after the game. But no, I personally, I didn't. I kind of just figured I'd go off gut, and in the end, I was happy. My goal was to make Final Jeopardy. Play the best that I could.
Me too. Oh my god. to not get kicked off before Final Jeopardy. I was like, okay, we can check that off because that was the goal. Yeah, I embarrassingly enough, my husband is a mathematician and statistician, and I did nothing. I literally picked numbers out of my head, which is going to infuriate a lot of people, and I think it actually already probably has because my wagers make no sense. So, but yeah, I don't know. No, I didn't.
The one from
really didn't.
They actually looked really shrewd.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Well, then yes. They were very considerate, and I thought about them a lot.
Yeah. Also, the reason why I asked, Kiyana, yours kind of was all, made the Just Wager 4000 Brigade very happy. If you
4,000 always wins.
Yep.
I honestly was just like, well, if something happens and these two lose all their money, I'd like to have something left in the end. Maybe I'll luck my way into this. And yeah, that was really the only thought that went into my head. I didn't have a lot of pressure on myself at that point in the game. I hoped for different, but as we talked about, those categories they weren't mine. I did the best that I could, and yeah, just kind of went with it. But I will say at the end, I felt like it was kind of better to lose than to have lost, and known that maybe if I had wagered differently, my result would have been differently. So it was nice to have not had that pressure and that sort of weighing on me at the end of the game.
Mm-hmm. So, both Claudia and Kiyana, did Alex talk about the interview topics you were expecting and hoping he would? I know Alex is a bit of a hockey fan, so it doesn't surprise me that he went straight for the LA Kings.
That was my preferred topic, when they kind of had the conversation, which one we'd like to. I had a few that were sort of, on the list. So I got a chance. Now, the only crazy thing, and it threw me off just slightly, although I understood, was at the time we taped, the Kings were 1-3. They were not looking good. The Kings lost their first 3 games of the season and had just won their first one. And he was like, we're well into the hockey season. And I'm like, and I have no idea what they're going to be doing in December. So I was like, yeah, I was like, either way, I guess I'm going to be a big fan through and through. And I think that was kind of my only faux pas in the interview was I think I said something like, I blinged my jersey and I'm looking forward to wearing it to a game this season, which I've already been to like 5 or 6 games. Yeah, he did go with the one that I was hoping for and happy to talk about on national TV. So that worked for me.
And Claudia?
Yeah, I actually sort of expected him to choose the one that he did because I know he's an opera fan. So, that's kind of what I was expecting. I tell you what, one of the hardest things about this entire process was filling out that damn questionnaire for the stories because I'm just the most boring person ever,
That's no joke. That was really rough. That stressed me out. I'm like, I don't even have 5 interesting things about me. I had to contact friends and go, what have I done? I had these backup stories about how I performed at Dodger Stadium when I was 12 in an all-city band. I was like, what else am I going to do?
That's a good story. That's a good story.
So on the hashtag, we've got some other suggestions. Jonathan Graham, what about Liederkranz or Flight Simulator for the most difficult Final Jeopardy?
Or Radio Shack.
I got Radio Shack.
Yeah, my wife just said the same thing from the other room. I thought it was hard.
Did either of y'all get it? Vaughn or Jason?
Wait, which?
The Pantheon question?
No. In fact, I was watching with my wife and my daughter, and we all missed it. And when Alex gave the correct response, my wife said, well, that makes it a sextuple stumper.
Well, can't feel too bad about that then.
Yeah, stumped a rather large number of people. Guess what? If you're watching and you happen to get Pantheon correct, please tweet us using the hashtag Jeopardy Live Panel.
Yes, I want to know. I want to know somebody who got it, just so I know that there are people out there.
Because I mean, my ex-girlfriend Megan went to Paris a few years ago, and I actually flat out asked her if she went to the Pantheon, and her response was, well, yeah, but it wasn't, the highlight of my trip, and I didn't even remember its name. She actually had to go Google its name to remember what it was. So,
I mean, there was like a trivia contest where someone had actually asked, well, what is the location of these famous landmarks? And so someone actually said the Pantheon is in Paris, and as opposed to the other Pantheon, and then there was a whole argument.
The one that everyone's heard of. Thank you.
Right. Well, a Pantheon is in Paris, but the Pantheon.
Right, Pantheon with a lowercase.
And
p.
actually, if I do seem to remember, although this is not by any means indicative, I do seem to remember going back when I was young, watching Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego, and the memory round being a Paris at one point, and the Pantheon was definitely one of the 12 landmarks or 11 landmarks at which you could have found the warrant or the crime. But anyway.
And this is why you're awesome at Jeopardy, because you remember an episode of Carmen Sandiego from when you were 8.
Actually, I was about 12, but...
12, whatever. Kudos to you, sir.
So let's see, some more things on the hashtag. A couple more from Jessica. I wasn't born until the end of 1995. Beat that. Also, Claudia, I have to teach Andy about chemistry at some point. He's not a science nerd like I am. And also from Matt Carberry, some more suggestions on what the most difficult one was. We had David Blatt / David Bratt and PC from the TOC quarterfinals. Both of those, I think Keith Williams wanted to get a writer fired over.
Yeah, there was one ridiculously easy Final Jeopardy in a week that was just impossible. Yeah.
Yeah, that PC from the TOC quarterfinals, I was not much of a fan of that one either. That was the game the buzzer broke.
I will say that, and I promise this is going to be the last time I talk about it to you guys. I'm going to talk about it until the day I die, probably. But the Pantheon question, Alex Jacob was like, yeah, that's Tournament of Champions level Final Jeopardy, I would say. Because it was just the guy's name. Like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, Alex Jacob said...
Yeah, this happens a lot, but Alex is right.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I was there.
Alex is right a lot of the time. Benningham is right a lot of the time. They have a lot in common, like they won the TOC. They tend to be right a lot. So here is, I think it's now a good time for our newest segment here at the Jeopardy Live Pen.
Is it time for Mean Tweets?
It's time for Mean Tweets,
Yay!
yes!
Mean Tweets. Okay.
So,
you need
what
a theme
I'm
song
going
for
to
Mean Tweets.
I need a theme song for a lot of things. If you're a theme songwriter, If you're a theme song writer, get in touch. So yeah, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put up some mean tweets. And then you guys get to, if you are the subject of the mean tweet, you get to read it out for everyone. So here we go. Looks like you're first, Kiyana.
Every time Kiyana answered a question, she had sorry, it went away, but it was something
Try
she had
again, sorry.
I'm not sure if this is right, but I'm going to give it a shot anyway. Yeah. So I saw that actually as it was airing, like I think on the East Coast or something. The show had not aired yet when I actually saw that tweet, and I was like, really? And then I watched the show, and I was like, yeah, that was fairly accurate. I did not realize there was of all the questions I answered, I think I really only guessed. I felt like I guessed at one, but I did sound like I was guessing every single time I rang in, and I had no idea that I sounded like that. So accurate. I actually think I put a like on that tweet and got a follow-up off of it.
Okay.
Well, and if you'll notice, it actually says I'm going to give it shot. It's like if you're going to be giving people a hard time, at least write a complete sentence or something.
Good eyes, thank you, Claudia.
Hold on.
140.
Not cool.
Give it shot. Maybe she's talking about drunk Jeopardy, where you have to take a shot to ring in.
Maybe so. You still need an article, though.
Yeah, true.
Sorry.
Here we go. We'll go with this one next. From Obi-Wan Jim Nobi at JLock 4B20. Or is it 4820? I'm not sure. Kiyana, this one's yours again.
Poor Kiyana pulled the December Kings performance on #Jeopardy, #GoKingsGo. Yeah, that one hurt, I'll be honest. I was afraid that one was going to come up. And that one, actually, I did put a like on. I knew where the guy was coming from. I know exactly what a December Kings performance is, although I will say this December they are tearing it up. It's harder than it looks. What can I say? I did the best I could. And, hey, I think I finished with a relatively respectable score, but, yeah.
You did. You definitely did.
I thought you played well, Kiyana.
So that was relevant.
Okay, here's the next one. Claudia.
Yeah.
Look at all the grammar mistakes too.
And I'm sorry, but if we're going after appearances, look at Homeboy's profile picture. No, thank you.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, well done, Claudia.
But
he's probably an MRA. Girl, okay. No, I lost it. Okay. From Zach at Zach Schmick. Claudia, you got a hot face, but girl, you're not pulling off that dress. #Jeopardy. Was this from Thursday or Friday?
This was from Friday.
Okay, there's a story. There's a story here. So I wore like a sleeveless thing, which is like #1 in the rule of like fat girls what not to wear or whatever. My jacket, I had a jacket, and I got shampoo on it in my suitcase.
Oh no!
So that outfit had another part to it, but it got ruined. So I had to go sleeveless on national television. That was scary. But yep.
I
sorry,
sparkled.
Zach.
I remember that it sparkled.
It did sparkle, so that sort of made it better. Sorry you don't like my dress, Zach.
And one more. This was from Darren Dial. This is from Thursday.
Okay. Yes. Claudia looks like she is in a Hans and Franz skit. #Jeopardy. That could be taken different ways. I'm not sure what he means by that. Any ideas, panel?
Panel?
I think the key to a really successful tweet is that you shouldn't have to explain it in another 140 characters.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Was that? Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it had to do with the sleeveless thing.
To be honest, I will say it was very difficult coming up with a sufficient number of mean tweets to do this segment. it seemed like people seemed to be very positive about you both.
Well, that's good.
I'll take that.
We like that. Yes, we do.
So, at this point, actually, I would say that any of my questions for the panel I'm actually at the end of mine. So, I'm at the point where do you guys have any questions for anyone else on the panel?
I have a question.
Certainly.
I would like to know how long Kiyana and Claudia were swimming in the pool before they got the call.
Kiyana, you want to go first?
Sure, I'll go. So apparently, by comparison, not very long. I did start taking the online test 3 years ago. Took it a couple of times, never heard back. Took the online test this year. I think within a few weeks, I got called to the audition. I auditioned in July, and then I got the call in September to take in October. So from what I'm hearing from other people, comparatively, that was a short time in the swimming in the contestant pool for me. But it worked out well, I think. I'm happy.
Yeah, I got my call for the in-person audition, and I did that in my email. I did that in April, and then I got called in September. So.
It's interesting. There's been a lot of contestants lately who got the call very quickly after they auditioned. It seems like almost nobody who's been on, at least since the Tournament of Champions aired, it seems like almost nobody was a long time waiting in the pool.
How long did you wait?
I thought that I had already not gotten the call.
Oh, okay.
I had an audition Memorial Day weekend of 2013, and I got a call in October of 2014 to tape in November of 2014.
Yeah.
Well,
What about you, Jason?
No, for me it was actually, I think, on par with yours. I believe I auditioned in April or May and got the call in September. It was my third try at it. So there was that, if you want to talk about that. But you know, it was about that length. I think, especially, the earlier, contestants in the season are going to tend to be called with less lag time because it's the structure of the way that the auditions are held. I think that it's going to take us until later this season to see people who are waiting longer, more so.
Yeah, when I auditioned, they were still showing season 29, and Maggie told us all at the audition we'd be in the pool until the end of season 30. So they started to show season 31, and I figured that was it. I wasn't getting called, and I was getting ready to take the test again.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, surprise!
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
Surprise.
Yeah, I've been taking the online
Green.
test.
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, no, it's okay. I've been taking the online test since I was in college. I mean, mostly just for fun, so.
And now for profit.
And now for profit. Phase 3 is profit.
Yes, Carrie Green likes to tell the story about how when she got the call, her response was, "But my 18 months are up. What do you mean this is a call to be on Jeopardy?"
But you're wrong.
This can't be.
A true Jeopardy contestant. But you're wrong.
Well, Carrie was late enough. She might have been into the Sony hack messing everything up. I don't really know.
I think she might have been, but
did that affect stuff with Jeopardy?
It did.
A lot.
Is that a stupid
Yeah.
question? I don't know.
Well, the 2015 online test, instead of January, was pushed back until about April. Because the hack rolled out in December of 2014. It was discovered, and things were just a disaster. I mean, they were all of that unfolded between the time my games taped and the time they aired. So
Wow.
when I left as a 5-game champion, they were going to do all this, publicity. People were going to talk to me, and they sent me all these things and said email them back. And by the time I went to email them back, they had no email.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Well. Yeah, I'm not. I'm just sort of becoming aware of the obsessive Jeopardy subculture sort of thing.
It's too hard. Don't do it.
And I'm trying not to. Like, I don't know. But I guess like the whole. And when Alex was talking about that there's books written about how to wager, and that people like obsessively analyze everything, and of course I'm not talking about Andy at all, but other people. But no, I mean I just watched the show and kind of it ended there, and so I guess I wasn't up on the latest news as far as the hack went.
Well, what's interesting, I didn't do any, just as far as wagering stuff goes, I didn't do any preparation for that. I just kind of logicked things out as I went and didn't have anything that was a particularly hairy situation where I really had to think about what I was going to wager. It was usually pretty cut and dry, and I think there are not a lot of situations where it's just like, well, you either need to bet to cover second or bet to win. That's really what it usually amounts to.
Well, it's.
Right.
I'm not going to lie, Jason. It's a lot easier when you're betting from the lead.
Yes.
That's very, very true.
Yes.
But
So, are there any other questions for the panel?
Anyone got a bottle opener?
Still looking for that bottle opener, huh?
You have a bottle opener.
That's so sad.
And
I
Jason.
don't know what happened to my bottle opener.
yeah, Carrie's mistaken. Jason's the one who needs a drink.
Yeah.
Jason was going to be pulling out a drink, and it was going to be orange and Lindemann Stash. And it and unfortunately you need to not only, so I have a corkscrew which it's corked, but there's a bottle cap on top and I can't find my opener. I know, poor me.
A cork and a bottle cap? What?
Yeah.
What sort of voodoo stuff are you drinking? I don't even know what that looks like. Can you like hold it up so I can see what it looks like?
I'd have to run and get it from my fridge.
Oh, never mind.
That is a really high level of drink security.
It really
Well,
is.
it is-
I hope it's really good when you get it open.
It is a wonderful fruity beer.
Yes. Lindemann's is quite a good beer.
Yeah.
And a lot of the Belgian or that area has a high level of drink security as you were.
They treat it like it's champagne.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's fascinating.
By the way, I'm getting a couple of random messages in being like, yes, Jason really is Dick Button. No bottle openers. No offers of bottle openers though. That's the terrible thing.
Boo.
Boo.
I'm sure it will turn up like right after we're done.
Well,
Did you never learn the lighter trick in college? You can open a beer bottle with a lighter. Yes? No? Maybe?
No.
I went to state school, so...
Now.
I think Claudia had more fun in college than I did.
That's what I said. I went to a public university. So.
Oh boy. Okay, here's another tweet on the hashtag from Jessica. Apparently this is about obsessing over things. I don't know. Claudia, Andy can be like that. You haven't heard him marvel over A4 paper yet, have you? Obviously not.
No.
Okay.
Okay, okay. Is that a story for another day, or are you going to tell us about A4 paper?
That's a story for another day.
Oh.
I look forward to that.
I am not going to marvel about A4 paper here on Jeopardy Live Panel. We do not need to hear that discussion. Any other questions? Okay, so for everyone here at Jeopardy Live Panel, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for taking part. Yeah, I guess I'm definitely going to get you back on, Claudia, once your run resumes. By the way, if you missed that, Claudia obviously will not be defending her title on Monday, but she will be back in January to defend her title. Also coming up in the schedule on Jeopardy Live Panel, by request. We're doing a couple of by request panels. We've got first up a Brandeis Live panel. Jennifer Morrow is organizing that a little bit. The entire panel will consist of alumni from Brandeis University. Also, I am preparing an all-sports Jeopardy panel because at Heels Rule 1988, Jordan Honan, he is going to be on Sports Jeopardy on December 30th. So that is so. In honor of that, I am going to put together an all-sports Jeopardy panel for that occasion. Other than that, for everyone here at the Jeopardy panel, thank you guys for tuning in and taking part on tonight's panel. There is my let's see. Let's get the screen share together for. Assuming my the credits won't work eventually, I am certain. For some reason, it hates me. Well, I'm going to read them out in the style of my choosing. Hashtag Jeopardy Live Panel. Moderator, Andy Saunders. Founder, Jeannie Kenkel. Panelists, Claudia Corriere, Kiyana Holderbaum, Jason Keller, Vaughn Winchell. Special thanks to Mark Barrett, Liz Fritz, Jennifer Morrow, and Jerry Shaw. The Jeopardy Game Show and all elements thereof, including but not limited to copyright and trademark thereto, are the property of Jeopardy Productions Incorporated and are protected under law. This website is not affiliated with, sponsored by, or operated by Jeopardy Productions Incorporated. Thank you guys for tuning in to Jeopardy Live Panel, and have a great night.